Welcome back to Sissy Maya. Make sure to subscribe to our channel to never miss an update. Additionally, consider subscribing to my Patreon to get access to these features, and much more. The day starts perfectly. I wake up before dawn and gently rouse Rosie from the blue sleeping bag we're sharing. "Come on," I whisper, "I'm going to show you something amazing." She nods sleepily, her hair tousled from sleep. As dawn breaks, painting the sky with soft shades of pink and yellow, we walk hand in hand along an old foot trail, guided by the growing light. Reaching the trail's peak just before sunrise, we embrace tightly, watching the sunlight dance over the lake. It's a breathtaking sight, with views stretching for miles in every direction. Together, we witness the sun illuminating the late summer landscape of western Montana. We spend a joyful day at the summit, surrounded by clouds, playing with the grass and admiring the delicate yellow flowers. It truly feels like the most perfect day imaginable. As the afternoon wanes, I check my watch and realize it's nearly 7:30. Reluctantly, I suggest we head back. "Why?" Rosie asks, reluctant to leave. "Your parents will start to worry," I remind her gently. She hesitates, then concedes, "Yeah, I suppose so." With a final glance at the view, we begin our descent, moving swiftly. Halfway down, Rosie suddenly stops and points excitedly. "Look at those deer," she exclaims, delighted. I smile, feeling content and in love with the warmth of the day. "Where?" I ask, unable to spot them. "Over there, under the big tree by the creek," she says, giggling like a child. I turn my head, shading my eyes from the bright afternoon sun with my hand. Down in the wash, almost concealed by a cluster of tall red-barked pines, stand two deer, a buck and a doe, quietly sipping water, oblivious to the distant observers above. "What's unusual about them, Rosie?" "Take a look through the binoculars." She hands them to me. I fiddle with them for a moment, adjusting them to my eyes and focusing, then turn them toward the deer. "You're right," I exclaim, "that doe can't be more than 2 years old, but the buck is already showing signs of age." I study him more closely. "Look at those antlers, some hunter will be pleased this fall." "Let's hope not." "Yeah," I chuckle. "What do you think draws them together?" she asks. "I'm not sure, he seems weathered and tough." "Yes, and she's so young and graceful." "Perhaps it's something deeper," I suggest. "I bet they're soulmates or something like that." "Sure, why not?" I laugh. Rosie has always been a hopeless romantic. I'm no expert, but it does strike me as peculiar. Still, it's a pleasant scene, and it brings joy to Rosie. I take her hand, and we resume our journey down the trail. The air cools around us, and the sun dips behind the towering mountains. Rosie pulls me closer for warmth. "Rosie," I begin. "What?" she responds. I pause, torn between blissful ignorance and the need for truth. I choose to confront the moment. "Do you truly love me, Rosie?" "Of course I do," she replies. We walk in silence for a while longer. "Then what was going on with you and Brandon last winter?" I feel her tense beside me. "Look, Dylan," she whispers, "this day has been perfect. Please don't bring this up." Her eyes remain closed, a single tear clinging to her lashes. "I need to know, Rosie," I insist. "Did something happen?" "Please, Dylan, don't do this to me," she pleads. "I have to. I need to know," I say, gripping her arm tightly. "Let go," she cries. "No, not until you tell me the truth about Brandon," I demand. The sun has set, and darkness settles over the landscape. The wind picks up, rustling through the trees. "For God's sake, Dylan." "Yes, something happened," she confesses, her words piercing my reality. She kicks me forcefully. I release her arm. "What happened?" "I slept with him, Dylan," she admits, her words shattering my world. "And though I regretted it then, I think I might do it again now." "What?" I exclaim. "Why?" "Because you're twisted and filled with bitterness, incapable of seeing anything good," she retorts, stepping away. "Even in the most beautiful moments, You managed to dredge up ancient history. Why would you do that? I stammer. Why would you betray me like that? It was a mistake, she whispers, but then again, being with you feels like a mistake too. My life is full of mistakes, but I won't let this one linger. Hey, I shout, anger swelling within me, don't blame me for this, Rosie. I'm not the one who was unfaithful. Maybe it wasn't betrayal, she hisses, maybe I love him. If you do, then you're lying. Why's that? You kept telling me you loved me. You're right, Dylan, she says, locking eyes with me, I am a liar. It's unexpected, a simple statement but incredibly cruel. As soon as we're back at the cottage, I'm leaving, I yell, trying to mask my tumultuous emotions. Good, she says, I'll give you 35 cents so you can call Brandon for me when you get to town. Oh, just stop and let's leave before we tear each other apart. I begin walking toward the cottage, with Rosie following at a distance. It's a dark night, the moon obscured and the stars faint beneath a light overcast. The wind bites into my skin, stinging my lips. Fueled by fury, I stumble over every rock on the trail. Suddenly, a light appears in the distance, moving through the trees. That must be Jenny looking for us, I say, still seething with anger. Whatever, Rosie replies coldly. We wait in silence, my emotions in turmoil. Confusion and anger battle within me. I want to forgive her, but I also feel deeply hurt. It's all her fault, I think bitterly. She doesn't even glance at me. The light draws nearer, revealing an old man with neatly braided hair. He emits an eerie, pale glow, surrounded by a disturbing aura. I'm terrified. What are you? I manage to ask. I am a man, he replies. Or rather, I was a man once. Now, I'm just remnants of who I was. Her. I grunt. I was like you, or her, once. Self-centered and full of anger. I ignored my feelings out of pride and let rage guide me, no matter how wrong I was, he explains, his gaze piercing into me. I shudder uncomfortably. Then, a long time ago, I died alone and forgotten on this mountain. And, well, Rosie stammers, if you're dead, why are you here? Perhaps to assist you, he replies. Perhaps. I inquire. Perhaps, he responds, it depends on who you are and what you hold sacred. My assistance may either aid you or bring you misfortune. It all hinges on the essence of your soul. What do you want us to do? I ask, my mind reeling and rational thought scattered. All I ask is for you to love each other, he says, extending his hand and brushing my forehead. I feel warmth draining from my body, leaving me paralyzed in shock. He turns to Rosie, who remains frozen in fear. Slowly, he carves a red X above her nose before fading away. What have you done? I manage to utter. I've given you an opportunity for salvation, and with it, the chance for damnation, he replies before vanishing. I collapse, drenched in a cold sweat, my stomach churning. A muffled scream escapes me before I lose consciousness. Gradually, my vision returns, accompanied by a throbbing headache. I try to rise but fall back, my knee striking a decaying log. Pain shoots through me. Something feels off, I don't feel normal. I lie still, wondering if I'm dead, when a man's scream pierces the night. I turn, searching for Rosie with growing panic, and notice the screaming man. He stands nearby, frantically groping himself. I shake my head in disgust, sensing that something is wrong but pushing it aside to focus on immediate concerns. Oh my God, he cries, running his hands over his body, my chest, what happened? He continues to examine himself, descending into despair. With trepidation, he checks his pants. Damn it, he shouts, his scream chilling me to the bone. What is this? He collapses, weeping. I take a moment to steady myself before approaching him. Rosie, I call out into the darkness, where are you? I'm right here, the strange man whimpers. No. I inwardly protest, something feels terribly wrong. No. I repeat aloud, but the reality begins to sink in. With trembling hands, I reach up and feel my hair. It's too long. At sunset, I had a short, stylish Caesar cut, but now it's at least shoulder length. I run my hands over my body, trying to deny what they tell me. Externally, I'm female, and everything else fades to black. How we descend the mountain is a blur, lost in a haze of mist and panicked cries. Rosie stumbles over roots, cursing and pounding against his body. I unleash my shock and violence on every inanimate object in sight. By the time we spot the glowing lights of the log cottage, my knuckles are raw and bleeding. Tears stream down my face. We both try to compose ourselves before knocking on the cottage door. I wipe dirt from my face, and Rosie wipes tears from his eyes. In my days, I hope Jack and Jenny, Rose's parents, will know how to fix this. But my hopes shatter when a 10-year-old boy answers the door. "Who are you?" the frightened child asks, his eyes glazed over. He wears the expression of someone who doesn't fully grasp the severity of a wound. "I live here," Rosie mutters. "Who are you, and why are you in my parents' house?" Her voice trembles. She knows something bizarre has happened but tries to deny it. The child's eyes widen with fear and confusion. "Rosie," he asks, "is that you? Why are you a boy? What happened?" He seems on the brink of hysteria. "I'm not sure," she replies, her voice shaky. "I don't know, but who are you?" "It's me," the boy whispers. "Your daddy, Rosie, it's me, Finn." "No!" Rosie shrieks, withdrawing further into shock. Behind the boy, a girl who looks about 12 appears. I'm almost certain it's Jenny. In terror, I kick the wall, unsure of what to do next. Nothing makes sense. I'm a woman, the person I love is now a man, and her parents have regressed into children. It's all too much to comprehend. What happened to you two?" the frightened child asks. "I don't know," I mumble. "We had an argument, and then this." "Oh my God, I can't handle this," Rosie shrieks. "I'm a girl, and I shouldn't feel like a guy." She pauses, trembling, shock and disbelief evident in her eyes and expression. Finn and I lower our gazes, feeling disoriented. The world feels wrong, filled with unsettling sensations and surreal images. It's as if the rules of existence have shifted, and our minds struggle to adjust to this new reality. It's a battle I'm losing, with the apparent penalty being my sanity. Rosie continues, her voice shaky, "I don't actually look like a boy, do I?" She turns to me, gripping my shoulder tightly, leaving bruises. "Dylan," she cries out. "Dylan, you're a girl now, but I'm not a boy, am I?" Am I? I can't respond. It's evident that I look like a girl now, like a woman, a version of myself I wasn't before. Pressure builds in my forehead, accompanied by a ringing in my ears. "I don't know," I yell. "I can't bear this, it's wrong, it's not right. No." I push past the bewildered crowd and rush upstairs, hoping to confront my transformed body in the bathroom mirror. Maybe, I rationalize as I ascend the stairs, it's some sort of hallucination induced by tainted food. We're not insane or transformed, I tell myself, just under the influence of a foul fungus. I climb the dimly lit staircase cautiously, every shadow seeming to leap out and assault my unfocused eyes. The hallway at the top is shrouded in darkness, deeper than anything I've seen before. I stumble my way down it, feeling the awkward movement of my new form. Reaching the bathroom door, I panic and flip the light switch. The room floods with light, revealing every detail with stark clarity. Standing in front of the mirror, clad only in boxer shorts, is a 50-year-old man. Everything has gone awry in such a short span of time. I blame myself, particularly my stubborn argument with Rosie. I stare at the man, scrutinizing his varicose veins and the trail of white hair on his chest. I'm hesitant to ask, but I need answers. "Mason," I murmur, "is that really you?" "Yeah," he responds, disbelief evident in his voice. "And you better be Rosie." "No," I stammer, "it's me, Dylan." "My God, Dylan, and I thought I had it bad. And Jenny, I thought she had it rough." "Isn't Jenny, well, compared to you, she seems okay." She looks like she's 12 or something. No, that was Ava down there. Jenny's locked herself in the bathroom. She looks like she's 60 years old. Damn, what the hell happened? I inquire. Don't know, man, it just happened. We were in the living room, and suddenly, this guy shows up. He did all this. Whoever the hell he is, I'm ready to knock his damn face in, he says, slamming his fist into the wall in frustration. I understand his anger, I feel it too. Man, why did he age you? I don't know, he was some kind of freak with weird powers. He was talking about understanding life better or some crap like that. Understanding life better? Yeah, I don't know what he meant. One moment we're fighting, and the next. Why were you fighting? A realization dawns on me, and despite my attempts to deny it, the pieces start coming together. Well, you know, stuff, he hesitates, his aged face turning red. I guess there's no point in hiding it anymore. Me and Jenny have been involved for almost a year now. Ava caught us this evening. Oh no. And they got all upset, like we were intentionally trying to hurt them or something. Any sympathy I had for him evaporates. Ava has been my best friend since childhood, and Finn, Rose's father, is a man I deeply respect. Why would you do something like that, Mason? I don't know, fun, I guess. But it's not like I don't care about Ava. That's what the guy made it seem like. He acted like me and Jenny were just using our partners or something. It was like a trial. He slumps against the wall. And he talked about how we wouldn't understand life if we kept going the way we were, he continues. You know, a bunch of other nonsense. I can't believe it, I exclaim. This guy is sick or something. He takes jerks like you and just ages them. But what about innocent people like me? What does he do to us? He turns us into women. Yeah, innocence, that was in his speech somewhere. He made it seem like Finn and Ava were innocent, mutters Mason. What the hell is going on? How could this happen? I feel tears welling up. My life's foundation has crumbled in less than 24 hours. Do you think I know? If I did, I'd be back to normal, Mason shouts. I can't believe you do that to Ava. You brought this on yourself. Go to hell. I'm sorry. Whatever, just leave me alone. He turns and heads back into the bedroom he shared with Ava. A new fear courses through me. Am I older now too? Or am I a naive kid again? I rush to my room, desperate to find out. What I discover astonishes me. It doesn't calm my nerves, but it alleviates some of my worries. I still resemble a typical 20-year-old, except, of course, for the fact that I'm now a woman. In shock, I descend the stairs and rejoin my partner, her father, and my closest friend in a stunned and silent gathering. Eventually, the other two join us. We sit, resigned to our fate, perhaps clinging to hope and prayer, though we say nothing aloud. We simply remain motionless. We dine in silence, sleep in silence, and awaken in silence. The first full day of our transformed lives passes without a single uttered word. Finn and Ava are the exceptions. Around noon, they begin to converse in hushed tones. Eventually, they rise and leave the room together, seeking solace in the outdoors. What do they know that I don't? I wonder. Curiosity and a desire to momentarily distract myself from my plight prompt me to follow them. My skin feels strange, and my clothes hang uncomfortably on my body. Nevertheless, I grit my teeth and push past the discomfort with each step. Outside, the sun shines brightly, and birds chirp a cheerful melody. A gentle breeze provides relief from the sticky cottage air. I sigh. Finn and Ava sit beneath a tree, gazing at the clouds. There's a hint of a smile on their lips, or so it seems to me. Dylan, Finn says solemnly. I knew you'd come after us. We need to talk to you. About what? I mumble. Everything, Ava laughs. Well, I retort with a hint of sarcasm, you two seem to be handling this situation rather well. That's because we've had a chance to discuss it, to understand what's really happening here, Finn explains. And what exactly is happening, And does it offer any hope of returning to who I was before? I ask, my frustration evident. In some ways, yes, I suppose it does, Finn replies. Please, have a seat. I comply, ignoring the added discomfort caused by my altered skin. Dylan, what that old man did was give us another opportunity to live right. None of us were getting it right. We were all tangled up in countless mistakes that couldn't be undone if things remained as they were. But how does aging Mason by 3 decades help him live better? How does putting me in a position where I'm on the verge of despairing help me live better? And you too, regress to childhood, what's the point of that? Mason and my wife were devoid of love, indifferent individuals. Now they're forced to rely on each other. Maybe that'll teach them to care about something other than themselves. I don't get it. Of course you don't, Ava interjects. Not yet at least, just give us a few minutes. Fine. Here's the thing. Mason and Jenny were selfish, everything was about them. They needed to be in a situation where someone else's feelings mattered. The fact that they're closer to the end of their lives doesn't matter, because if they died behaving as they did, their lives would have been meaningless. Even though they're older now, they have a chance to truly live. And then, Finn adds, you've got people like me and Ava. We've let others walk all over us our whole lives, so now we're thrown back into childhood to maybe start asserting ourselves. They were all about me. We were all about giving and never receiving. Either way, it's no way to live. You and Rosie, Ava says, are what a great couple should be. So then, I ask, why punish an innocent like me? It's not punishment, Dylan, it's an opportunity. And you're not innocent. You couldn't forgive her for something that happened ages ago. But she betrayed my trust. Not everything hinges on trust. Sometimes love is a series of well-intentioned lies. What matters are the emotions. Ava stands, her pale brown hair catching the light. For a moment, she looks like the child I once knew, the one I fell in love with and never stopped caring for. I realize how little she's changed even after all these years. She's still as innocent and faithful as ever. That's why she's always been one of the beautiful people. You have something special with Rosie, Dylan, she continues. The way you gaze into each other's eyes and touch each other gently, even when you're bored. You need to love her, or you'll never feel complete. You've had your roles reversed, Finn adds, to teach you that it doesn't matter who or what you are. You just need to love her, Ava emphasizes. Otherwise, you'll be lost forever. But how can I love a man? I whisper. You don't understand yet, she says, her tone tinged with frustration. It's not about loving a man or a woman. Rosie could be a donkey and you could be a little white rabbit for all it matters. I know it sounds cliché, but you're different pieces of the same puzzle. You're the perfect blend of 2 minds into a single, beautiful soul. Until you grasp this, you'll never find happiness again. But once you do, you'll be in heaven. Are you suggesting I should just forget that she betrayed my trust? But what about you? You haven't forgiven Mason, have you? No, and Finn hasn't forgiven Jenny, but it's different for us. We settled for mediocrity and now we're paying for it. You got the shiny new apple, the jackpot. You found the other half of your soul. Something like that shouldn't be shattered by a silly argument or a fling that ended months ago. Have you ever considered that maybe your reaction was driven by fear of how deeply you depend on Rosie? That's why she did what she did with Brandon. She sensed, maybe subconsciously, that she'd never feel complete without you and tried to avoid the effort, commitment, and pain involved. Dylan, you're just as scared as she is, but you're luckier than anyone else. Don't you see? You've found one of those mythical soulmates, the stuff of fiction and romantic movies. You're all set. I don't know, I murmur. Finn and Ava seem convinced otherwise. They silently retreat into the house, leaving me to ponder nature, both of the world and of humanity. I gaze westward, towards the towering cliffs and the dense, blue forests. I sigh. Somewhere up there, I realize, an old buck stands beside his young bride, knowing that she could choose any other mate,
yet understanding that for some inexplicable emotional reason, she chooses only him. In that moment, enlightenment dawns upon me. I see the world for what it truly is. I re-enter the dimly lit interior, avoiding the accusatory glances of Mason and Jenny. Ava meets my gaze and nods, her eyes conveying a warm and understanding smile. Go to him, her silent message says, become whole. I know what I must do. I walk over to Rose's corner and peer into his striking green eyes. Somewhere within them, beyond the weathered features and the rugged jawline, I glimpse a faint glimmer of what once captivated me. I open my mouth, then close it again. Taking a seat, I shut my eyes. I'm not entirely sure why I became so enraged at you, Rosie, I whisper. I do, she replies, her gaze lowered. I understand exactly why you did, and I can't fault you. No, I interject, you're mistaken. It was my mistake to become so defensive over past events. You loved me up there, and that should have been enough. I still sort of love you, Dylan, he murmurs. I do too, I admit, my voice barely audible. Why am I like this? I whimper. Why do I always seem compelled to sabotage anything good in my life? I don't know, he responds, a tear forming in his eye. But I think I do it too. That's what Brandon represented. You and I were getting along too well, and I couldn't allow myself to be happy. Why? I demand, my emotions escalating. Why do we subject ourselves to this kind of self-destructive behavior? I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. We both avert our gaze, attempting to conceal our tears and regrets. A heavy silence envelops us. Damn it. Mason suddenly explodes, breaking the suffocating quiet. I can't stand this silence. Well, what do you expect me to do about it? I retort, my voice laced with 2 days' worth of frustration and bewilderment, mingled with the complex emotions I hold for Rosie. Do you think I'm some sort of entertainer here to conjure up a party for your sorry self? Not at all, you foolish idiot, he responds icily. Once again, silence reigns, painfully palpable. I can't bear it either. Slowly, I make my way across the room and approach the weathered record player. Resting atop it is the sole piece of music within the confines of the building, Pachelbel's Canon in D major. In an attempt to dispel the agonizing quiet, I slam my hand against the on switch, casting a smile in Rose's direction. I aim to convey that the music is meant to drown out any lingering thoughts of animosity or fury in my mind. The needle skips, dispersing a delicate cloud of ancient dust into the air. For a fleeting moment, the speakers crackle with static before the music begins. The gentle violins take on a life of their own, saturating the room with hauntingly beautiful yet mournful melodies. I feel a tiny, silent tear forming in the corner of my eye, mirrored by a similar glint on Rose's cheek. Suddenly, everything feels harmonious in the world. Outside, the light dims as clouds gather. Gradually, with unhurried grace, the piece builds towards its crescendo, exchanging intensity and anger for pure, exquisite joy. Bathed in the soft glow, Rosie reached out to me, and we intertwined hands. I've never danced to a classical composition before, nor have I ever followed another's lead, but it's impossible to move clumsily to the enchanting music that fills the room. Tenderly, affectionately, we glide across the floor, gazing deeply into each other's eyes. Nothing feels awry, everything feels right. His touch traces my form, drawing me nearer. Though tears still linger in my eyes, they now reflect love and happiness. Regardless of who I am or who I may become, I know Rosie will be by my side, guiding when needed, following when called for. Soon, Finn and Ava join us, followed hesitantly by the adulterous Jenny and Mason. No verbal invitation is required, we simply dance, locked in an eternal embrace with our soulmates. As Vonnegut once said, everything was beautiful and nothing hurt. It perfectly encapsulates this moment. The violins crescendo to a resounding finish, fading away but leaving behind 6 individuals who have found solace. I love you, Rosie Lynn, I murmur. I love you like I've never loved anyone before and like I'll never love anyone again. I love you too, Dylan, she replies amidst tears of joy. No matter who or where you are, I do. As the night deepens and the lights illuminate, I think of the wounded buck, perhaps observing from the forest as three silhouettes move in and out of the window, casting shadows against its white backdrop of light. I imagine him standing beside his doe, cherishing her and embracing life. I envision him enjoying the music that reverberates from the cottage, infusing the forest with sounds of vitality and bliss. In my mind, I silently wish him well before redirecting my focus to Rosie. Do you forgive me? He asks. No, I respond. How can I forgive someone I'm not angry with?